Hey, what's going on, guys? So this video has been requested, or I've gotten a lot of requests for this video. Um, so this video is gonna be, it's not gonna just gonna be about the first time because the first time wasn't too eventful. Um, but it's gonna be probably the two or three times I got high. Um, just because if I just told you the first time, this video would be extremely short. So I guess let's just get into it. So. We're in freshman year, and I wasn't. I don't know. I wouldn't say that like I was. I don't like break under peer pressure, but I don't know. So you know how like you always have that one friend that just has stuff, but you don't ever like. I mean, maybe you do talk to him and like get stuff from him, but whatever. Anyways, that I had that friend, and he walked up to me one day, and he's like, "Yo, like I got some good stuff. You wanna like try it?" And he was like, "I'll give it to you for half off." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. Like I don't want to do that. Like I'm trying to stay straight." And he's like, "Come on, man. It's just like you gotta try it. It's like it's really good, and I'll give it to you for half the price." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." So he was like, "All right, man, but if you change your mind, let me know." And so later that night, I was thinking about it, right? And I'm like, "You know what? You only live once." So I text him and I'm like, "Yo, like, is that offer still on the table?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, totally." Um, I was like, "All right, cool." So he told me to give him my address, and I don't know why I gave this kid my address, but I did. And so basically, he comes to my house about 20 or 30 minutes after I give him my address, and he comes to my front door because no one was home at the time. I think my family was like at the mall or something like that. I don't know, but he comes to my front door, and and so I answer him like, "Hey," and he's like, "Yo, what up? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just like recording some stuff." And he's like, "Ah, nice, nice." So I hand him $40, and he gives me. It's not even like just weed in a bag. It it's 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 weed wrapped in like saran wrap with a bowl attached to it, and then that's all wrapped. I don't know if it was like duct tape or electrical tape, but it was wrapped in like thick black tape. And so I'm like, it kind of looked like a piece of duker, but like I'm not gonna, you know. And so I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks, man." And he's like, "No problem, dude. See you at school tomorrow." I'm like, "All right, have a good night." And so I go inside, or I close the door. I go in my room, and I kind of stare at it for a good like 5 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this right now. So I open my nightstand drawer and I just throw it in my nightstand drawer. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Fast forward a couple days. Uh, I keep thinking about it because I'm like, does weed go bad? Like I don't know if weed goes bad. So I'm kind of just sitting there thinking about it. Like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Right. Um, and so I finally make the decision to like, cause no one was home again, cause I think they were at the mall again. I don't know. And so I make the decision. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. And keep in mind, I didn't know you were supposed to like break up weed. I literally just took a whole like bud out and threw it in the bowl and crushed it, like with my thumb, like packed it in the bowls. And so whatever. So I smoked the entire bud, not even thinking like maybe I should like break this up a little bit because it was a big bud. So I smoke it and then I don't feel anything straight away. So I'm like, all right, maybe weed is just like I don't know. It just kind of calms you down. It doesn't like do anything bad. And so about 5 minutes later, 5-10 minutes later, I'm sitting in my chair at my desk recording something, and next thing I know, I feel like the floor is almost like a trampoline, like I'm bouncing up and down, and then my body gets all tingly, and I'm just like, and I just like I don't know, I'm like I have anxiety, but I didn't have anxiety that bad freshman year, but like you know how when you're having a panic attack and you already feel like you're gonna die, it just it I feel like that like amplifies when you're on something because you can't get your head straight and like you start freaking out, you know. So yeah, I started having like a full blown panic attack because I didn't know what the hell was going on with me, and so I so I turn everything off, like my PlayStation, shut off my monitors, and then I go and I lay down in bed, and I'm just staring at the ceiling, like wondering what the hell is going on with me. And then so I start like just looking around my room and like trying to like assess what just happened, you know, and I feel like when I'm high, like the highness comes in waves because once I focus on something, I kind of forget that I'm high, you know. But so I I was just like my whole body was numb and like I started like twitching, you know, and that freaked me out. I don't know why. So I was like whatever. So I just put the blankets over my head and went to bed. And then so the next day I wake up for school at fine and yeah, and I was like Jesus Christ, I'm never doing that again. So then fast forward a few days and I was like, you know what? Nah, this time I'm gonna get high and I'm gonna actually like fight it. So I'm talking to my friend about this. And he's like, dude, you should come to school high and just see how like you react. And I'm like, bro, that is the best idea ever. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, okay. So 5:30 comes around the next day. I wake up, I smoke a bowl, and nothing happens for a good like hour. Like I'm chill for an hour, and then I get to the bus stop, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like looking at the trees and stuff, and then I realize like everything is in slow motion right now. Like I'm moving my head, and everything is it just looks like motion picture basically. So then I start having a panic attack again. And keep in mind when I get there, there's no one there, right? And so I'm like having a panic attack, and like my hands are in my or my head is in my hands or whatever, and I'm just trying to like keep it together. And then I take my hands or I take my head out of my hands, and there's like four people standing at my bus stop, and I swear to God, like it was like they just teleported there. And so and then like sounds were so loud, and I was just freaking out. And so I don't know why I said this, but I turned to the girl next to me, and I'm like, guys, I just can't do it today. And so I walk home, and I swear to God, it felt like the longest walk ever because everything was like slowed down and I was freaking out and it felt like it took me like years to get home. So when I finally get home, I open the front door and my grandpa's sitting in his chair and I'm like, you know, Grandpa, I just can't do it today. I don't feel good. Right? And he's like, and before you could even answer, I just ran into my bathroom and closed the door. And the way my bathroom is there's like where the toilet is, right? There's a mirror covering the whole back of the door, so you can see yourself sitting on the toilet. Um, and so I wasn't like doing anything, but I was just sitting on the toilet like trying to think, you know. And so I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing right now? Like, you gotta calm down. You're fine, like whatever. But then like I started thinking about like, dude, has anybody ever overdosed on weed? Like, because like I mean I was new, so I didn't know like if that could happen. Like I know you can't, but like no one ever has, whatever. But so I'm like, dude, like what if I overdose on weed and then like they find me dead somewhere? And so after like I don't know how long in the bathroom, probably like 10 minutes in the bathroom, just sitting on the toilet looking at myself in the mirror. I go in my room and I don't even take my shoes off. I literally just throw my backpack on the floor and lay down in bed, put a blanket over myself. Um, and I think that's it. Like I was sitting on my blanket just thinking about the situation, like reflecting on it, you know. And my body was still super numb and like twitchy or whatever. And then so I don't know how much time because I couldn't really. There's no like time track on this, you know. Like I kind of just remember it in parts. And so about 5-10 minutes later, my grandpa I hear like a knock at the door, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And I'm still under my blanket, and he goes, so you going to school today? And I was like, I don't know, probably not. And so then I hear him like make like sniffing like a right, and he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling too good. And he's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, so I'm just gonna stay home today. He goes, all right, buddy. Hope you feel better. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, me too. So I fall asleep. I fell asleep probably around like 7, maybe 7 or 7:30. I don't know. But and so I wake up around like 11, something like that, and I'm still high. Not like super high, but like I had like a head high, and my body was like not numb, but I don't know. I just couldn't feel certain parts of my body, and I felt sick, like I was gonna throw up. It sucked so bad, and so basically I walk out. My grandma's sitting at the kitchen table on his computer, and I'm like, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how you feeling?" I'm like, "Dude, I feel like absolute hell right now." And he's like, "Oh, sorry to hear that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of sucks to feel." And so I went and made. I think I made like a burrito or something. Like I don't know why. I just decided to make a burrito. I was like, "Dude, burrito would make my day so much better right now." Um, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I texted my friend and told him that I wasn't going to school, and I remember specifically I was so high that instead of texting him letters, I texted him numbers and letters. I don't know why I did that. I just did. So yeah. So I missed that day of school, but I didn't really miss anything too important, in case any of you were wondering. Um, so yeah, but I don't encourage, like, if you hear the story, I don't encourage you to go try weed. Like, go at your own pace. Don't let someone peer pressure you into it, you know? Or any drug for that matter. Just take it at your own pace, you know what I'm saying? And don't overdo it, because I overdid it on a few things, and it's just not, it's no bueno, you know? So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want more story time, just ask me. Um, peace. So I just watched this video back and I realized that I say like way too much. So you guys can delete your comments saying that I say like too much. I'm sorry. I won't say like a lot in the next story time if I do another story time. So yeah. Now peace.